In this video, I'm going to be making a very specific tank for a very specific fish. Now, at the moment, I don't currently know if the fish shop even has the fish still in stock or if it's been bought. I should probably call and reserve it, but where is the fun in that? We're just going to go for it and hopefully, you know, we've got enough time. Not to over dramatize things or anything, but yeah, let's crack on. So the tank that we are using is this beautiful sort of just clear generic box. It doesn't have to be completely sort of rimless like this one, it can be anything, but I've got this one, it's beautiful and I'm going to use it. The lighting is just this really budget LED. There's some blues and some whites in there. It should do a really good job. We don't need anything too spectacular for the plan I've got. And I'm sure you'll notice in these delicious botanicals sat in the bottom here, they're going to come into play later on because we're doing a black water tank and these are key for that. They'll also make the whole thing look really natural and authentic. And we've got great news, guys. Today's video is sponsored by API and Aquarian. Many of you know I've been using these products for years and years now, and I think the health of the tanks and the plants speak for themselves. Throughout the video, I'm going to be using many of these products, all of them actually at some point, and I'll explain them in a bit more detail as we use them. We've got the root tabs, which I put in absolutely every single tank that I produce. It works so well, just keeps those nutrients levels high. Leaf zone, just for after water top-ups and things like that. Just keep those nutrients in the water column. CO2 booster, I always use this to fight algae. Aqua Essential makes your tap water safe. The list goes on. Quick start, just absolute cheat for starting a tank. Straight away, basically. I start all my tanks with fishing cycles. This is the secret. Everyone needs a water testing kit, of course. And then the aquarium food, this is all I feed my fish, is the flake, the algae wafer, and then the sinking pellets for a lot of cories, and the cichlids love this as well. This stuff's really gonna help you guys in creating tanks and keeping them healthy. Now, most blackwater tanks don't have many, if any, plants, but I wanna do a little bit of a twist, have like a planted blackwater tank, which means you keep the tannins down quite low, but they're still there, and you have all this beautiful stuff on the bottom, which means that we are going to need a substrate system. We're going to need nutrients locked down and capped in sand so that the plants can find those nutrients and just grow beautifully all around the tank. Well, that scared the bejesus out of me. I thought that this was a piece of botanical or piece of wood. It's not, it's a moth. It looks so much like wood, right? It's not alive. Unlucky, buddy. I've never really looked at this one here, but it's a little suspicious. So I've got some old aqua soil here for some previous projects. It's got aqua soil, bits of gravel in, lots of different small plants as well. So that goes down as the base layer. So for this setup, we don't need a huge amount. There's not going to be tons and tons of plants, but we want a good base layer, enough to supply those roots. Now the plants are going to be predominantly at the back, so I'm putting a lot more at the back than the front. And then just sort of flatten it out a bit. So I now just want to boost all of that substrate system, and for that I'm going to be adding in the root tabs. Now you've got options here. Either you can just break them out, they're all in like that. If you can break them out, snap them into smaller pieces if you want and dot them around everywhere. Or at this stage, is what I like to do, is just crush them all up in a pestle mortar and sprinkle it over everything. You know you're covering all areas then. There we go, we're looking good, but I've just had a thought. Most of the time the tank's going to be viewed from this angle because this is like the main section of the studio. This aqua soil part at the side here is a little bit unsightly, so I'm just going to sort of blend it backwards that way so you won't see the darkness of it. It's just, I don't know, it's going to look a little bit ugly when we've got like a lighter substrate sat on top. And look at me using the proper tools, look. I normally just grab whatever's available, but I actually found this time in the place it's supposed to be. That's because my wife has been here and she organises stuff very well. So I've got a load of play sand that I want to go down as the base layer. Start off in all your edges so that you don't pull all the aqua soil forwards. Now this stuff is like really uniformly grained. It's all actually pre-washed as well, which is good. Now this won't be the final sort of colour. It'll be the main colour, but I'll have lots of detail and little bits in there as well. There we go, a nice little starting base now. If we come around to the side, you can see the difference and the size of the layer. So we should be able to plant into that really well, but it's also going to lock down all those nutrients underneath as well, ready for the roots. And the good thing about this play sand is that it's really cheap. You can get it in big bulks. You know, don't waste your expensive decorative sand on building layers up. No, just use cheap stuff for that. You can use this, pea gravel. I find sand works really well though with planted tanks for locking everything down. And also the roots do penetrate it really well as well. So now we can put our hardscape in. Now what am I gonna do? I could go with like spindly bits and whatnot, but for this one I want to do big chunky pieces of bogwood. I've got some immense pieces up on the top, but they're going to be too big for this tank. Maybe that one there could work actually. It's a big piece, but it's kind of impactful and it might work quite well. I'm going to get it down. Got it. And now the moment of truth. Will it fit? Well, it will fit, but how will it look? Instant aquascape. Yeah, I like that, it's really cool. I want to have some darker spots, so keeping the wood on show as it is like that, not covering it in plants at all. But also what's good is that this branch here has still left me a good gap so I can get down and clean the glass if I need to as well. Yeah, it's going to work, brilliant. Easiest aquascape I've ever done. So I suppose it's an island composition and then we can build around that. Okay, so off camera, I decided to flip the whole thing around. And I think it looks even more interesting. Like it's got that cool sort of sweep to it. It's got lines following sort of a triangular composition. There is a nasty flat edge all up this side. But if I can build the rocks sort of in that direction, we've got like a cross, if you like, and then I'll accentuate it this side a bit as well. And speaking of rocks, I'm finally gonna get around to using some of this dragon stone. I think it will look really good in this scape. I've got some awesome pieces here. I'm just gonna start building up sort of this section down here. Spin that around. There we go, I think that's a good little starting position. And maybe this one can go behind it, if it fits. Don't want to take up too much space for planting though. I think that looks cool. And then we can put a piece of Anubias or something there to hide this sort of flat edge. Then I've got a few more pieces here. I'm gonna go with a smaller piece, just coming sort of that direction. Carrying on with the shape of the wood really. And then another one on this side following the wood. Oh, that's an interesting piece. Look, it's got cool little bits all on it. Leave a little bit of a gap behind it for some planting. Yeah, look at that. It looks like the roots sort of exploded from something. I'm gonna keep some more in this side as well of the dragonstone. Just keep that theme going. Nice long piece there as well. Look at this. I'm not doing anything complicated either, am I? Oh, I really like that. Yeah, nice and basic. I suppose it's an island composition technically, but nice and simple. All the lines are kind of following each other as well, which is quite nice, and that seems to just be quite pleasing to the eye. Now we need some detail though. Loads of detail all amongst all of this stone and just where the wood and stuff touches the sand. I'm going to keep this really sort of rough looking. I want it to look proper natural style. And I got this sort of just mix here of a load of different stones. That should look pretty good. And it's literally just a case of scattering it all in. We don't call it scatter gravel for nothing. Don't be careful with it, just launch it. Like this, ready? Go. Now another reason I'm not overly concerned about all the sort of scatter gravel is there's going to be a ton of those botanicals in. They're going to cover the whole sort of, well, most of the bottom there. The whole idea of this is that the botanicals just add like a new level to the substrate. They become the substrate, if you like. So yeah, we can leave it at that. I do need to glue this down though with some cyanoacrylate super glue gel because I think it's really dense. It might not float, but it probably will. I don't think I've used this at all yet, so it's not waterlogged at all, it's just full of air. Okay, so that's cool. Now we're by no means done yet, but I do want to get these botanicals down here all in boiling water. Basically, that means that they're gonna have like 24 hours or so to be able to settle. And it means that when I put them in the tank, they'll just sink straight down where we want them and not just be floating all around and looking horrible. So yeah, first of all, we need a couple of buckets. One of them for the water to go in and the botanicals, and I put the other one on the top, and that just keeps everything sort of pushed down. Otherwise the botanicals float to the surface and just stay kind of semi-dry. Right, now do we want all of them? More is more. So yeah, I don't want that coconut shell, that's like a shrimp hide. All of these things. And then the leaves as well. These are catappa leaves, small ones. La 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 la, that's a lot of botanicals. That should cover the whole of the bottom pretty much, but loads of interesting shapes and textures. That's what I'm, oh, no, I need to get that off. Like why? Why would you do this? Whoever did this deserves a place in somewhere bad. And scrape most of it off. And I'll tell you what, oh, it smells so good. It smells like tea, like actual tea bags. Whoops, may have put in a little too much water there. Now we fill up the tea bucket. In fact, I think I'm going to do one more kettle full. I think I want a bit more than that. And there's number 2. Other bucket can just rest on top. Bit of weight as well. Bit more weight. Probably shouldn't use glass as a weight, but we've done it now. So what are we going to do with regards to planting in this one? Well, I want to keep that sort of real dark look underneath there. So not so much green pops in the foreground, a couple of little bits of detail, but mainly the green at the back. So I'm going to start with tons of boost, just sort of hugging in this bottom section here. And I've got lots available, but I want to stick it to little stones so that then I can place them exactly where I want them inside the tank. In fact, I've got a load of little pieces of dragonstone actually, that'll work well. Actually, these are really small, those ones, but I use those. Very dusty, I might just want to give them a wash. There we go, and then it's just a case of taking off the rock wall. There's like a halfway point, so if you find that, it's quite easy to remove it all. I've had these ones for quite a while, so the roots have grown massive, but there we go. A nice little bouquet of boost. Stick some glue onto the rock and push the boost down. Simple as that. Hold it for about 10 seconds. Try not to glue your finger like I'm currently doing. And there we go, perfect. You can place it anywhere. So one of the reasons for using the boost is that it does really well in lower lighting or medium sort of lighting. It does really well in high lighting, don't get me wrong, but it's still going to be great in those darker areas. We've got two kinds of boost here, both from Aquafleur. It's Busiphilandra Thea Green and Busiphilandra Thea I don't know. And it's got such nice like natural tones to it. I want to keep the greens though tucked in a little bit more, otherwise they might start to look a bit artificial. Got a big one there. I think it would be nice to have one coming out as like an island as well. Bury it in the sand. A couple of smaller ones for detail. Strong look, strong look. Now I want the background area to be the area that's got like the pop of green. So you've got like a real high contrast between the foreground, which will have all those botanicals as well, the darker boost, and then that just sort of pop behind it all. I think that'll look really cool. And for that green pop, I'm gonna use this plant here, which is some kind of, I should look it up, shouldn't I? There we go, look, it's Nymphoides Taiwan. So yeah, it's like a lotusy style, but it isn't. If you know what I mean. And if I put that in there now, it's just going to flop over and look terrible. So I'm just going to fill it up and then I can see how everything's sitting. Okay, we have a problem. So I don't know if you guys can see the wood started lifting. Now that's not because it's broken free of its glue points. It's lifting the rocks up as well. It's so buoyant. So I think what I'm going to do, all that mistiness is where I tried to put a piece of dragonstone on top. It was covered in clay, so it's all in the water column now. So that'll have to come out as well, but it'll get filtered when we put the filter on. I think I'm just gonna leave it exactly like that. I'm just going away for the weekend. See you Monday, and it should be sunk. Please be sunk. So it has now been 2 days. This is how we're sitting. Just before I left, I put these 3 rocks on, and it pushed everything down exactly where I want it. But is it gonna stay sunk? I'm not too sure. It's such a big chunky bit of wood, but surely it's fully saturated by now. It's got some tint in the water as well, which is fine. That's what we actually want. It won't, I'm gonna drain it anyway, just to get all that clay and stuff up that was dropped in, but will it float? So I'm sort of expecting it to, although hoping it doesn't. If it does, we'll just have to deal with it then. Moment of truth. That is definitely gonna float. It's still so buoyant. Okay, I'm gonna have to, it's gonna be less buoyant, but still buoyant. I'm gonna have to take it out. I'm gonna have to do something else. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to like glue a big rock to the bottom and bury that in the sand with it on it, because oh my god, look at that, oh, that's so buoyant. This is all very annoying, of course, but it's stuff that happens. So I wanna keep you guys like, you know, oh, there's air leaking out of it, which means there's air in there somewhere. If I can get the air out, it might actually be all right. And that's made no difference whatsoever. Okay, we'll try again. A big rock, a load of paper towel, and some super glue. It's not the gel, it's the actual liquid. I'm gonna stick that onto there, and hopefully that should solve it. It's so buoyant. So first of all, I'm gonna take the bits of paper towel, just place them on in like dots. Okay, and then just use all that paper towel to soak up all of this super glue, and then place the rock on top of it all and press down. Don't get too close because it gives off like these horrible fumes. There we go, look, filled right in. It feels pretty solid. Yeah, that's on. Good, good. We'll try again. It is sinking though, just about. Still trying to float though. Oh no, a little bit of boost. I'll find a home for that. It's kind of there though. It's still trying to come up a little bit. So I think if I glue another rock and the back side of this, that should lock it down. Okay, we try again. I have to move some of the rocks around a little, I think. I don't want to push too hard because I'll snap the new glue. But it is almost there, so I think if I drain all the water out, I can reattach these rocks here to these rocks, fill in the gaps with the boost, and I think we'll be good. Right, we should be there. I've added a couple of extra pieces of Anubias just to hide that join, and one boost piece at the back to hide that rock. It was just literally poking out in that area. It was an eyesore, but I think we're good. Let's fill it up. Oh yes, guys, we have great success. It's looking cool. I like it. I really like, I don't know, it's so simple. Obviously we're adding more plants. It wouldn't be my channel if we stopped there, would it? So I've got those plants to add in the background area. I've got some nice crypt flamingo in the foreground. And I've also got this really nice bulb here with a type of lotus plant, I'll put it up on the screen, but I can't remember what it's called, but it's got these really nice pointy arrow leaves. That is looking tidy and rather simple as well. Yeah, nice simple layout really, not a huge amount of plants. You come from this side, you can really see that nymphoides. And obviously there's going to be all the botanicals to add as well, but first I want to get the filter going. So filter wise, I've got a used Superfish one, little hang on the back look, and that'll work perfect. Well, it will do if I can get this light to sit there as well. There we go. Barely notice it, get it filled up and we can start it. So we're running nice and smooth now. This water will be crystal clear in no time because the cartridges have got the fine filter pad. You can take them all out and clean them as well, which is great. But this flow is just going straight down, hitting down this bottom section and swooping across, which does mean any botanicals in this area are just going to get blown everywhere, and then these ones will as well. So I'm just going to do my little trick where I put a little bit of plastic, hang it under there from a bottle, just cut up a bottle and loop it back on itself, and you get all the flow across the top. By the time it's hitting the bottom, it's dispersed a little bit. So yeah, it works really well. So we take a plastic bottle, cut all the way around it, cut the bottom off, slice it down the middle so it can open out. Then I'm going to cut off about 3/4 of it, and then we've got this scoop, and you just fold the back bit on itself, because that's the bit that's going to sit under the lip of the filter. Perfect. Then it's just a case of sliding it underneath. Have I got it? There we go. So now the bottom isn't getting battered and pushed around. And we've got that nice little bit of surface agitation as well, which is going to give us oxygenation. It's also going to help with skimming the surface because it's pushing any organics back into the water column, and the filter will pick them up. Perfect. And it is now time to put these amazing botanicals in. I took out the glass. This water is so brown. It smells absolutely lovely though. Some of them are still quite floaty, I think. So we're gonna have to, like for instance, this massive pod thingy here, that's gonna need glue into something for sure, because even squeezing the air out, it still wants to float. But we've got loads of botanicals here to work with. Look at that. I'm just gonna chuck them in, let them fall where they want. Oh, all my lights have gone off. It's time to go home. Bye. Only joking. We can put them all back on again. Hey. Yeah, so yeah, the point of this is that we cover the whole lot. Yes, that's sinking. The Pac-Man is sinking. It's a cool little cave. Hopefully they'll use that. And I've got this weird one, remember? I mean, does this look too silly? I don't know. It's kind of, it doesn't even look natural. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna put it in anyway, because why not? A bit different. Even more botanicals around it. And we keep going. There we go, look at that, the detail. The details on the bottom. It literally looks like a flooded forest floor, doesn't it? Now, I was gonna get the fish today. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna come in tomorrow morning. Now, one of two things is gonna happen. It's gonna look fantastic, crystal clear, or it's gonna be an absolute murky mess. Some water changes will need to be done, that kind of thing. We do want a little bit of tannins in the water as well. So the thing is, when you first set up a black water, the tannins make it go murky rather than brown but clear. Do you know what I mean? Brown but like crisp. That's the look I really want to go for. So we'll see what it's like tomorrow. So it's now the next day, and as you can see, we haven't floated. So we're locked down, that's good. There is a slight haze to the water though, and I'm going to put in a product to get rid of that. So down here you can see we've got API AquaClear. Now what this does is it binds the sort of larger particles together that are floating in the water column, binds them together, makes them even bigger so that they can be picked up by the filter. Because this filter's got these fine pads in them, it should just pick everything up and we should be clear again. So AquaClear goes a long way, that's why you only need this little bottle. And for this size tank, I'm going to do about a quarter of a capful, and that will literally be enough. Now it takes a good hour or so to work on this size tank, so we'll go and get the fish, and we come back, we should be clear. A lot of you ask how my tanks get so clear. It's AquaClear, that's how. It's just such good stuff. And then also the tank was filled up with tap water, so I'm gonna be using Aqua Essential. That's gonna make everything perfect. So not only does it remove chlorine, chloramines and heavy metals, it also detoxifies the water as well from ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. That's in a higher concentration. We don't need that much for now, so I'm just gonna put in a small amount and it just gets the water perfect. Great value for money as well, because for this size tank, I only need that much. It's gonna last forever, right? Again, Aqua Essential, awesome.
Hello. Are you just condoning,
I was just
consoling?
Cheryl was okay.
Checking she was. Are you not okay, Cheryl?
No, fine.
Any particular reason? Is this going in?
A litre of JD is probably the reason.
Can that go in?
I don't drink.
No, it was at least 2 days ago, wasn't it? It's fine.
I should probably tell the audience it's Monday and everyone's a little bit tender.
Yeah, it's just tired. It's a busy weekend.
Yeah,
It's always the way. It's always the way.
But I am here for fish.
Okay.
My tank is ready. I've sent it to you. We've
Like
gone
it?
for a real authentic. No, the bottom's authentic. It's a bit treey, but I like it.
I do like that.
It's
though. It
actually
looks nice.
it's reminding me of. Remember on Lion King, the monkey that lives in that
Tree of Life.
Yes,
Is
it reminds
Tree
me.
of Life? Yeah,
That'll do. No, it's the Circle of Life.
Hakuna Matata.
So I hear you've got some really cool fish for me.
I've got some awesome ones.
Okay, ones that I've never had before.
Yep.
And in fact, I've never seen even before.
No, and I've never had them before either in the shop. So it's
Okay.
the first time I've been able to get hold of them.
Okay,
So,
this is intriguing.
now they might not be showing colours yet, but it's these little guys. So
Okay,
these
come
these
to the
are
front.
Ornate climbing perch.
Do they look like that?
Yes. So when the males and when they're displaying to each other, they'll get this proper grey sort of banding to them, with then the reds and the oranges and the big black stripes. They're
There we
just
go. There's
such a cool
There's
fish.
some colour. Oh, look at this
Yeah.
one. This one here. It's quite glary. Hang on, let me just sort the. There we go. Oh yes,
They're
yes.
really nice fish. So they're like, well, yeah, like I say, it's the first time we've had this species in. There's a few other species that are more common, but this one, first time we've ever been able to get these.
Now, didn't you say they're similar to like gouramis, or
Yeah.
like the fighter fish?
Absolutely.
Sort of.
So
Are they labyrinth?
Yeah, they are a labyrinth fish of description. So they're from Africa. Yeah, so it's like a bit like a African betta, I suppose, in a roundabout way.
We'll go for
People
that.
will probably tell me off for that, but yeah. It's
Can I put that in the title and thumbnail? African betta.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, well, you know, it'll work. But yeah, it's a tricky one to describe because they are from Africa. They are a sort of labyrinth fish, as it were. But yeah, they're just, I just love them. I think they're great. They're very characterful, very dwarf cichlid. So very sort of lurky. They'll check things out.
You can tell just how well they're behaving here is more than that sort of just random tetraness. There's a purpose to them, isn't there?
Very interactive and checking what's going on.
Do you have them in groups, or are they?
Yeah. So yeah, in that size tank, I'd probably go maybe 6 or 8, something like that. They don't get back. They don't get big. So about 8 centimeters fully grown. So they're not massive fish, and they tend to, as long as they've got their own spaces, they tend to, very much like a dwarf cichlid, they get on absolutely fine in little groups.
There's massive actually variation in the colouring on each one of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, I suppose that's just dominance thing,
This is it. Yeah, dominance and sort of showing off. Weirdly, the first week.
Look at this one.
Yeah, the first week we had them in, one of the smallest ones was the first one to colour up. So he was like proper out the front in grey and black stripes, showing off, like giving it his all. And he was one of the smallest ones in there.
Okay. How do we pick?
So normally, well, I'd expect the males are going to be slightly bigger. So I think some of these are sort of more bigger ones here are probably going to be the boys. And then I think we picked some nice sort of medium girls. It might be, I'll have to have a look at it. It might be down to fin shapes, males and females. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, we'll have a look.
Just to check and be 100% sure. Like I say, it's quite a new species to me, but
what you don't want to do is go for all the best colours and best size, do you? Because then there's the hierarchy's going to be all over the place.
They're probably all dominant fish. So they're all going to be dominant males. And that's the hardest thing, is you've got to hold yourself back and sort of pick out some of the more duller ones and some of the slightly smaller ones.
For the community.
Yeah, to make sure that you're not getting all testosterone-filled males.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm well keen. They're going to look great in that little set. Do you reckon on their own? Do they need a dither?
Don't need a dither fish. You can if you want to eventually.
But if we're having that size group, that's right, isn't it?
Be a nice little show, and you can always see how it goes. You know, get them in there, see how they interact, see if it fills the tank and looks good for you. You can always add a little sort of shoaling fish of some description at a later date.
It's so hard to tell which one's to pick, because 1 minute they're changing constantly.
They turn it on and off like a light bulb, but they are insane. Like 1 minute you walk past and there's one that's like all out of the front, greys and blacks, and then 2 seconds later it's gone and it's sort of back down to those brown colorations.
Because literally when you showed me them first of all, because this isn't my first viewing, but as much as it might appear on camera, there was one down here, wasn't there, that literally looked exactly like that.
There was 2 males essentially fighting over the bottom bit of bogwood, and then obviously one of them's gained the dominance and the other one's gone, yeah, cool, you're the boss now, and that's it, that's chilled out now.
But I'm literally not seeing, I think it was this one.
He looks lovely.
And it can change so fast then.
I might have a good photo on my phone that I can send you.
No, it'll be fine, because once they're in the tank, they'll be
settle
brilliant.
down and you'll get some proper sort of showing off to each other. It'll be really cool.
Right, let's go for it. I'm looking forward to it. Right, bag them up.
So I'm back from the fish shop and the tank is looking really clear. Now, probably too clear. It's not really black water at this point, is it? There's a little tinge you can see, but I think I want it a little bit more than that. So I'm going to try and add in some of the tannins from the bucket. Now the bucket is still down here with a load of the other tannins still in it. But the problem is that I've got a feeling this water, although it's tea stained, it's a little bit murky. So what I'm going to do is take out the rest of the tannins, so it's just the water in there, put a little filter down in there with some filter floss, and hopefully take out any particles, and then we're just left with that really nice tinted water. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, well, I'll worry about that then. Oh, it smells so good. It smells just like really strong tea. So then I've got this bucket of water. I've got this little mini filter with white filter floss in it. It's probably going to spray quite hard, but that should mean the turnover rate is very, very fast. There we go. Whoa, facing it upwards. Okay, I'll just leave it like that for like an hour. Right, I think the water is ready. It's looking quite nice. I'm going to add it in and just have a look. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's really nice. There's still a little bit of mystification to it. I think I just made a word up, but good thing about doing it like this is I can just add a little bit at a time and just get to a level that I'm happy with. It will continue to leach it from this stuff down the bottom as well. But yeah, so far, that looks pretty good. I think I'll go for one more jug. One more look, there we go. Should get around quite fast. Now I'm actually interested to know what the pH of this tank is sitting at. So for that, I'm going to use the API Fresh Water Master Test Kit. We also can test ammonia, nitrite, and everything, all the stuff that you need. So we've got pH low, pH high, we've got nitrites, nitrates, ammonia. For me, this is the sort of essential kit you need when you're keeping fish, because how do you know what's going on? If you're getting problems, you need to know what's going on in the water. This will tell me that, but also it'll tell me if everything's good as well. So to start with, every day I'll just do a test when I come in because it's a new setup, just making sure that all those levels are low. If they're not, I'll do water changes. But to be honest, we've not got a big stocking in here, decent amount of plants, we should be good. So the pH from my tap is 7 and we've dropped to about 6.6, something like that, between 6.6, 6.8. So we've had a good drop there in pH, but also the fish are from sort of like little rivers and stuff like that in Africa. And I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff, Congo Nature Photography is a guy on Instagram. His stuff shows the proper little streams and things like that. There is a lot of tannins in some of the water there, so this is absolutely perfect. So we are ready, we can add fish. Now the fish have actually been sat in the studio for a good while now, so they're the right temperature already, because I heat the whole thing. The whole place is heated, so all the tanks are sitting at the right temperature.
Now I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. Are they going to hide out in amongst all those botanicals? Are they going to stay in the open? Straight downwards, okay. This one's gone off on its own. These are staying as a group, but they're already exploring. Now for the minute, they're not going to be coloured up. I think I'm just going to leave them for a second just to get accustomed. They're going in and amongst it all straight away, which is exactly what it's there for. So they're exploring a lot more now. They were just right down the bottom, but as you can see, they're going in the testicles. That's what we're calling them, the testicles. Water's still a little bit murky, and that'll be from that extra bit of pour that I did. You can never really get all the particles out straight away. So over time, it will go crystal clear and more sort of tea stained, but still clear. So there's a slight mist, but that won't last a huge amount of time. Oh, there's one of them now, look, just peeking around. Can you see? Just inside there, look. Yeah, let me turn it's almost like they're gonna find their own territories, I think. This one's just decided wants to chill out here, which is absolutely fine. That could be your little spot. Oh, I've spotted one of the absolute gorgeous males. So look, I'm coming around from the corner. I'm right in that little groove, just in there. I'm not sure if I can pick it out, but you see that sort of zebra? There we go. Come on, come forward. It's so misty from this angle because we're looking right through the tank, but that'll get clear. So the fish are in, but the tank is not cycled, and that's why we need to add the quick start. This is my cheat code. I always use it with new fish and never get any losses. It's so good. Absolutely essential part of my arsenal here. So for this tank, I'm gonna add 2 capfuls. Whoop. 1, 2, and I always do a little bit more for luck. Now all that beneficial bacteria is going to start to colonize everything, including the filter. So the coarser sponges are inside the cartridges, it'll get all locked in there, all in the substrate and on every surface. So it's now the next day and the tank has gone very murky. But what is nice is that the fish are creating their own territories. This one seems to like this area, and there's another dominant one that keeps going in and out of the pod there. He's currently just sat to the side of it in this sector. There we go, he just chased one of them out. So they're very territorial, but the beauty of it is that we've created a ton of territorial areas by putting all of the botanicals down. Now I'm not liking this tint or murkiness that much, so I'm going to do a quick water change. So the water is now clear, and it's been several days, and the guys are still shy and staying quite hidden a lot of the time. Now this could just be their temperament, but I want to try and do everything I can to make them feel more comfortable. So I'm thinking some floating plants might help, and a few diverfish. I'm going to be redoing this tank soon, and we've got some big chunky like neons and cardinals in here, and I think a small group of those in there will work really well. Territorial fish tend to feel more safe when they've got a diverfish like these guys just swimming about in the open. It makes them think that there's no threats about. So we'll try that. So here is some Salvinia. Now this is going to block some light as well. Maybe it's too bright for them. You know, I just don't know. I've never had these fish before. Even Matt's never had them or seen them even. In person, that is. But I do feel this will help. It's also going to really help with water quality as well. Because these plants are exposed to the sort of air outside, and the roots are in the water, they can just suck up nutrients as well. That actually looks really nice. So here we go, here's a nice little group of the neons. As I say, these neons are a pretty decent size. They're only a little bit smaller than the perch, but the perch will grow bigger. So I'll keep an eye on that and just make sure there's no sort of aggression. And if there is, I can remove them as needed. Neons often go and hide like this when you first put them in, but they'll be out and about in no time. So it appears to be working. I'm seeing, oh, they just dipped in there. I'm just seeing the perch coming out a lot more. They're investigating the neons, having a little look around. We've got this sort of one lone cardinal over this side. Come on, find your buddies. They're all over here in this little group. So a lot of the perch are tucked in this corner. There we go, there's one you can see there now. Just having a little look. It can probably see me, so it's been a little bit cautious. Another one over that side now. It's definitely working. They're feeling a lot more comfortable. I wasn't seeing them at all before, and now they're exploring. Nice one, cardinals, doing a good job. And the thing is, the cardinals will love this water as well, because the pH will drop due to the botanicals, and they love that. Might even get some breeding going on. One of the females there looks full of eggs. See that one? Bursting. The colours though of the cardinals, look at that. Really vibrant, they look brilliant. Oh, there we go. One of them coming out properly. That's the first time I've seen them out in the open properly like that. It was brief, but it did happen.
this one's coming right up to the surface. Oh, yeah, that's good. They're going to build their confidence. They're going to do that a lot of times and then feel like it's like all safe. Seems to have found its own little sort of territory in this section. Let me zoom out so you can see where we are. Yeah, so we're right in that area there. Cool. It's nice to know that they're enjoying the little areas I've created. Oh, this one here, look, it's using that as its cave, the pod. He just come out, went in that section, and then he goes back again. This is cool. I'm so glad I decided to put that in. These guys are just having a nice little conversation about what the hell just happened. Getting really, really brave now. It's been a good hour since I added the neons, and the neons are completely comfortable, and the perch are becoming way more comfortable as well. This is why diver fish can be so good, because they're like, don't really even care that I'm here, and it just adds that security to the perch. Now, if the perch were bigger, I would not put neon tetras with them, but given the size of the neons, which are like fully grown, the perch are still very small. I'll keep an eye on that obviously and make adjustments if needed. There we go, look, we're seeing them at the top a lot more. They're coming up, having a little look around. It's so hard to get close though, because as soon as they see my camera, they're not so happy. And the neons are very interested in the testicles. So what I'm going to do is just leave the botanicals in the bottom to naturally tint the water over time, just like in this tank here. It can take a couple of weeks before it goes this sort of clear tint. Do you know what I mean? There's no mistiness to the water at all, but that gives you maximum effect really, and it looks way more natural in my opinion. So the fish have been in for several days now. They are coming out a lot more. When I stand here, they're still very shy, but I'm thinking we might be able to coax them out with a bit of food. So this is my little organizational trolley thingy. And you can see here my food. This is what I feed every single one of my tanks. Not everything for every tank, but this one I think I'm going to use a few pellets, because they'll find those down in all of the botanicals, and also the flakes. So then we're covering the perch, and we're covering the neons as well. The perch will eat the flake as well for sure, won't they? So yeah, Aquarian food. This is like a UK brand. It's the only food I've used for the past like 4 years. Fish are all doing great, so it's obviously doing a very, very good job. Now the neons should be used to my tap-in, but obviously they're in a new environment. Oh, there's the perch in the middle. Let's get some in there quickly. Good thing about this is you can just take it in your fingers and either crumble it on the top, or I like to put it in the water flow and crumble it up just so it sinks down straight away and just sort of goes everywhere in the water column. So the neons are going for it straight away. Obviously these neons are used to this food and everything because they're from the other tank and they've been fed for like 6 months now. Perch are interested, I can see them. Can you see them back there? Probably just gonna wait there. There's another one like poking his head round. Come on out. Maybe I should come back a bit. Don't be afraid. I just saw one. Don't be afraid. Oh, there we go. They're definitely interested, look. They want the food, they know the food is there, but they're sticking down low, that's fine. Oh, there's another one right at the back. Oh, awesome. They're getting along really well as well with the neons. There's not been any sort of aggression at all towards them, so we're all good in that aspect. There's still this guy at the top here with his own little territory in that section, but these perch are very territorial. I wouldn't say aggressive. They don't chase any of the other perch. They just sort of push them out of their area, and then it's all good. We'll get a few of the sinking pellets as well. I feed these to all of my cichlids because they're just a bit more dense, and like cichlids grow faster, get bigger, that kind of thing. These aren't cichlids, but they're a bigger fish. Not very many of those I don't need. Just put a few like that. They'll find their way down and they'll peck at them. They are loving that little back area there. I keep seeing them. There we go, there's one right at the back. They obviously feel safe and comfortable there, that's fine. But yeah, the tank is really clear now, right? Another day with the filter running and the AquaClear clearing it all. Looks so good. So make sure you are subscribed with notifications on, because there will be updates coming for this little community, and I've got a feeling it's going to be an interesting one.